Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're going to be talking about something called your soul contract. Uh, have you ever felt like you keep running into the same roadblocks over and over,
Oh, yeah.
no matter what you do?
Like a pattern.
Yeah, like there's some kind of hidden pattern in your life. Well, maybe the answers are right there in your name, like literally written in your birth name.
That's what we're looking at today. Excerpts from your soul contract, Decoded,
Oh, cool.
by Nicholas David Nguyen.
Nicholas David Nin.
Yeah. He
Okay.
basically uses this ancient system of Hebrew numerology to uncover what he calls your soul's unique blueprint.
So we're like cracking a cosmic code or something hidden in the letters of our names.
That's the idea.
That's kind of cool. I'm ready to decode mine. Where do we even begin with this?
Well, I think it's interesting to start with Nicholas David Nguyen himself.
Okay.
His background is fascinating. He starts his career as a chemical engineer.
Oh, wow.
So super left-brained,
Yeah.
logic-driven stuff. But then he goes on this whole spiritual quest, and that leads him to this work with soul contracts.
A chemical engineer turned spiritual seeker. Okay, now I'm really hooked. But so what exactly is a soul contract? Is it like pre-written destiny? Like it's already decided?
Not exactly. It's
Alright.
more like a map or a guide.
Okay.
Ningen's theory is that before we're born, our soul actually designs the life we're going to live, and it chooses a name
Whoa.
that vibrates with the specific energies that we need to learn and grow.
Hold on, so you're saying my soul like picked my name before I was even born?
Yeah, that's the idea. It's like
Mm.
our soul is saying, okay, this time around, I want to master patience or courage, so I'll choose a name that reflects those qualities.
Wow.
And then that becomes part of what he calls the karmic matrix.
Karmic matrix. Okay.
It's like the blueprint that influences our challenges and talents and even the goals we're drawn toward.
Okay, that's a lot to process, but I think I'm getting it. So my name isn't just a random label. It actually like holds a deeper meaning. It connects to my soul's journey. This is blowing my mind. So how do we actually decode this soul contract? Is it like complex calculations or something?
Nguyen explains it all in the book, but he doesn't just throw equations at you.
Okay, good.
He really guides you through it. First, you got to translate the letters of your birth name into their Hebrew equivalents.
Okay.
And each Hebrew letter has a numerical value,
Oh.
and that forms the basis of your soul contract reading.
So I don't need to brush up on my ancient Hebrew.
No meaningful.
That's a relief. But there's 22 numbers each with different meanings. How do we make sense of it all?
Nguyen emphasizes that understanding your soul contract is a journey, not like a destination.
Okay.
You start with the broad principles,
Yeah.
and then you gradually peel back the layers, and it gets deeper and deeper.
So it's like we're uncovering those hidden depths within ourselves.
Yes.
Layer by layer. Okay, I like that. But where do those layers lead? Like what kind of insights can we expect?
So he introduces this really cool visual metaphor, the stupa of life.
The stupa of life.
So imagine like a spiral path
Okay.
that leads upward.
Mm-hmm.
And as we journey through life, we're constantly like encountering and overcoming similar challenges,
Okay.
but each time at a higher level of understanding.
So it's those recurring themes we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to see those in my own life.
And that's the thing about the stupa of life.
Mm.
It's a reminder that life isn't linear.
Yeah.
We circle back to familiar lessons,
Okay.
but each cycle we get the opportunity to grow and evolve.
I'm seeing how this could apply to my own life for sure. But what about the double letters that Nguyen talks about? I have a double letter in my name. What does that mean?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Double letters actually intensify the experience
Oh.
associated with that particular number. It's like turning up the volume
Oh.
on those life lessons.
Yeah.
But with that intensity also comes the potential for like profound transformation.
So having a double letter isn't a bad thing. It's just more intense.
Exactly. Think of it as a fast track to mastering those particular energies. For example, let's take the letter D,
Hey.
Decoded in Hebrew. That represents the number 4.
Okay.
Now, a double D could indicate challenges around creativity or nurturing,
Mm.
maybe feeling blocked or like something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
But then, bam, a breakthrough happens and you step into a whole new level of abundance.
So those tough lessons can actually lead to amazing growth.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm seeing how this all fits together.
It's all connected.
Yeah, but can we dive into some more examples?
Yeah.
What about those case studies you sent?
Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm so curious what their soul contracts reveal.
Well, let's take Stephanie Jane Collins.
Okay.
Without giving away too much. One thing that really stands out in her soul contract is this need to connect with divine feminine energy. It's like there's this missing piece in her life,
Hmm.
a need for nurturing and balance.
Yeah, that makes sense. We live in a world that often emphasizes masculine energy, so
Hmm.
maybe her soul contract is guiding her to embrace those more nurturing qualities.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then there's John William Taylor.
Okay, John.
His soul contract highlights a journey of learning to trust the flow of life. It's all about letting go of control
Oh,
and having faith that things will work out in the end.
that's easier said than done.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it.
I can relate to that, but I'm curious to learn more about how his soul contract plays out.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But first, I think it's important to talk about the balance between physical and spiritual energies.
Okay. Yeah, because Nagan talks about how crucial that is for a fulfilling life.
Right. It's all about finding that harmony.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. From chemical engineer to spiritual seeker to this whole idea of a soul contract. Before we're even born, my mind is officially blown. But before we dive into those fascinating case studies you mentioned,
Yeah.
can we back up just a little bit and talk about those physical and spiritual energies? How did they play into this whole soul contract thing?
It's all about balance. Some numbers in our soul contract are associated with the more practical, material aspects of life, like our career, health, finances.
Okay.
And then others relate to our inner world, like our spiritual growth and our intuition.
So it's like a roadmap for our outer success and our inner fulfillment.
Yeah, like two sides of the same coin.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But how do those energies actually show up in our soul contract?
Well, Ningen uses what he calls the Star of David chart to map out your soul contract.
Okay, I love a visual. So walk me through this Star of David chart. What are the points?
So picture a six-pointed star,
Okay.
and at the very top you have your soul destiny. This is the big one, like your overarching purpose in this lifetime, the culmination of all your experiences and growth.
Soul destiny. That's pretty intense. What about the other points on the star?
So going down the right side, we have the more physical aspects of your life. Physical karma, which highlights the challenges you're meant to overcome. Physical talents, which reveals your natural gifts and strengths. And then physical goals, which point to what you're here to achieve.
So it's like a blueprint for how to navigate the material world. Okay, I'm seeing how this could be helpful. What about the left side of the star?
The left side is all about your inner world. Spiritual karma, revealing the spiritual lessons you're working through. Spiritual talents, highlighting those intuitive gifts. And then spiritual goals, which show you the direction of your spiritual growth.
So it's like a spiritual compass.
Exactly.
This is fascinating. But how do we actually fill in the points on the Star of David? Where do those Hebrew numbers come in?
Remember how we translate the letters of your birth name into Hebrew? Each Hebrew letter also has a numerical value. And those numbers, when added up in specific ways, reveal the energetic blueprint.
So those numbers actually hold a meaning that's specific to my life path?
Yes. And Nergen lays out a clear method in the book for calculating those numbers.
Yeah.
But the real magic is when we start to interpret those numbers.
Okay, I'm ready to unleash my inner numerologist. But 22 numbers, each with different meanings, it feels like a lot to unpack.
Don't worry, he provides interpretations for each of those 22 numbers.
Okay, good.
Broken down in a way that's easy to understand.
Okay,
And he even gives you keywords to help you remember the essence of each number.
okay.
For example,
Yeah.
the number 1, or Aleph in Hebrew, is all about new beginnings, independence, and leadership.
So if I have a prominent number 1 in my soul contract, it means I'm here to be a pioneer, blaze my own trail.
Exactly. But remember, context is key. The meaning of a number can shift depending on where it lands on that Star of David chart. If that same number 1 appears in your physical karma point,
Okay.
it might suggest you're here to overcome challenges related to ego or control.
So even the same number can have different shades of meaning.
Yes. The full contract isn't just about looking up definitions. It's about seeing how all those numbers interact, like different instruments in an orchestra.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to put it. So it's not just about individual numbers, it's about the overall composition.
Exactly. He encourages you to look for patterns, connections, and repeating numbers. This helps you see the bigger picture, the overarching narrative.
And what about those double letters again? Do those play a role in the Star of David chart?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about double letters intensifying those karmic experiences?
Yeah.
Well, that intensity is reflected in the Star of David chart as well. For example, let's say you have a double M in your name. That represents the number 13 mem in Hebrew. If that double M falls in your spiritual talents point, it could indicate a powerful gift for empathy and healing. but it might also come with a tendency towards self-sacrifice
Oh.
or taking on other people's burdens.
So they're like powerful amplifiers. They can magnify both our strength and our weaknesses.
Exactly. But that intensity also comes with the potential for incredible transformation.
Okay, this is all starting to make so much sense. But I have to admit, I'm still a little overwhelmed by all these numbers.
Sure.
Any advice for someone who's just starting to decode their soul contract?
Ngan provides lots of helpful tips and exercises in the book,
Mm.
but one thing he really emphasizes is the importance of trusting your intuition. Don't get bogged down in the details. Just pay attention to the numbers that really resonate with you.
So it's not just about intellectual understanding, it's about feeling it in my gut.
Yes, it's a living, breathing document.
Okay. I'm feeling much more confident about diving into my own soul contract now. But before I get lost in numerology land, let's get back to those case studies. I'm dying to hear what their Star of David charts reveal. Okay, I'm ready for those case studies.
Huh?
Let's dive in and see how this all plays out in real life.
Let's do it. It's fascinating to see how each person's soul contract is so unique,
Yeah.
reflecting their own individual journey and purpose.
Okay.
Let's start with Stephanie Jane Collins.
Okay, Stephanie.
Remember how we mentioned her need to connect with divine feminine energy?
Yes. And that double 6 in her physical talents.
Right. So when we look at her full Star of David chart, it really paints a more complete picture.
Okay.
For example, her physical karma point reveals a 13 to 4, which suggests she might have faced some challenges related to her mother or struggled to embrace her own nurturing side.
Yeah, that makes sense. We often inherit patterns from our families.
Exactly.
So maybe her soul contract is guiding her to heal those wounds and step into her feminine power.
Right. And then when we look at her spiritual talents,
Okay.
that same 13 to 4 appears again.
Oh, wow.
But this time it's a gift. It suggests she has a natural ability to nurture and heal others, be a source of compassion.
So the same number can be both a challenge and a talent.
Exactly. Two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
And it's not just about her relationship with her mother.
Right.
That 13 to 4 energy points to a connection to the divine feminine, the archetype of the great mother.
Okay. I'm really starting to see how those numbers can reveal these deeper energies.
It's pretty amazing.
What else does her soul contract reveal?
Well, her spiritual karma reveals an 11-2,
Okay, 11 to 2.
which often suggests, learning to navigate intense emotions and finding stability amidst chaos.
Okay, so what's the grand finale? What's her soul destiny?
Well, it all comes together because her soul destiny is also a 13 to 4, suggesting her ultimate purpose is to be a beacon of love, a healer, a guide for others.
That's beautiful.
She's here to empower people to connect with their own divine feminine energy and create a more nurturing world.
I love that. Okay, I'm ready for another inspiring story.
Right.
What about John William Taylor?
Yes. Yeah.
His soul contract highlighted the importance of community and
Right.
finding balance between the physical and the spiritual.
It's interesting because his chart shows a real interplay between those two aspects. His physical karma is an 11 to 2.
Okay.
So it often suggests a need for structured discipline and learning through collaboration.
So he needs to balance his independence with the wisdom of community.
Exactly. And when we look at his spiritual talents, we see a powerful 8,
Those double 8s.
which suggests he has that natural ability to create a sense of belonging,
Yeah.
to build strong foundations, provide stability.
But you mentioned those double numbers can also amplify certain tendencies. What might that look like for him?
Yeah, good point. With the double 8s, there can be a tendency towards rigidity or emotional detachment. So for John, it might be about balancing that grounded, practical energy with a willingness to open up and connect on a deeper level.
So finding that sweet spot between strength and sensitivity.
Exactly.
I'm seeing this isn't just about our gifts, it's also about recognizing those shadows and integrating all those parts of ourselves.
Right. It's all connected.
And his spiritual goals, what do
Yeah.
those reveal?
Well, that's where things get interesting. A 5-5,
Double 5s, okay?
suggesting he's here to learn to trust his intuition, embrace change, and break free from those limiting beliefs.
That sounds like a wild ride.
The 5 energy is all about freedom, but can also be impulsive. So for him, it's about channeling that energy constructively and creating positive change.
Okay, so what about his soul destiny?
This is fascinating because his soul destiny is also a 13 to 4.
No way! So both Stephanie and John.
It echoes Stephanie's,
Yeah.
suggesting his purpose is also connected to nurturing compassion, creating a harmonious environment.
Two totally different people with different paths, but the same soul destiny.
It reminds us that we're all connected,
Yeah.
contributing to a larger tapestry.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I have to ask about that name optimization.
Yeah.
Is it really possible to change our energy by changing our name?
It's a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
He suggests that the different names we use can actually influence our energy and experiences.
Huh.
Think about it. We have different names in different contexts.
Right.
Maybe a formal name at work,
Yeah.
a nickname with friends,
Yeah.
maybe even a whole new name if we legally change it.
So each name carries a different vibration.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And by being aware of that, we can make more conscious choices about how we present ourselves to the world.
That's really empowering. It's like we have more control than we realize.
Right. And while not everyone feels called to legally change their name, just being aware of those different names can be a tool for self-discovery.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new way of understanding myself.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
And for everyone listening, if you're ready to embark on your own soul contract journey, check out Your Soul Contract Decoded by Nicholas David Negin. It's a fascinating read.
It really is.
And remember, your soul contract is a gift, a unique